Okay, let's talk about Chainsaw Man Chapter 29, titled A Perfect 100. And starting off with this chapter, we're getting a beautiful picture of Power brushing her teeth in the mirror as she gets ready for the day. It's a nice colored title page, and as it says on the sides, thanks for all the great volume sales, apparently more than expected for Volumes 1 and Volumes 2 of Chainsaw Man. And it announces Volume 3 is coming out August 2nd. So yay, the manga's doing well. Meaning we're gonna get more chapters, and maybe in a year or 2 or 3, we'll get a anime. Wishful thinking. But let's move on. So starting off with this chapter, let's talk about what happened last chapter, like usual. So last chapter was the last fighting chapter of this arc of, I don't know what to call it, but it was the last chapter for that running arc of people working for the Gun Devil trying to capture Denji. So starting with this chapter, some time has passed and now everyone is settled down. It's the calm after the storm, because we're opening up with this chapter in the hospital with this beautiful face, Aki sleeping like he's been hit by a truck, which honestly, he had more done to him than being hit by a truck. He was all types of stabbed and messed up the last time we saw him a few chapters ago after he was fighting that devil man. So at least he's alive. And he's in the hospital with Denji and Power. Why are they there? You might think they'd be there to like show support because he's a friend, he's a teammate. Honestly, they just went in because they knew he would have a get well basket, which would have been filled with fruit. So they went and ate all the fruit and waited for him to wake up, just to tell him that Makima has ordered them to go see her for instruction. But yeah, while they're in hospital, Aki asks Denji who else in the 4th division lived, and Denji just blatantly says that Kobeni girl lived and that Four Eyes guy lived too, but he quit. Everyone else, and that's it. Aki doesn't say anything, he just looks away, and Denji and Power get up to leave. And as they leave, Aki starts crying because, as we found out, Aki is a really nice guy. He really cares about people. He not only cares about people in his division, his squad, he cares about people in general. Back in like chapter 5 or 4, I don't remember, when Aki and Denji first went out on a mission together, he said he knew all the police officers that were at the scene. He talks to them, he knows their lives. So as Power and Denji leave, Aki breaks down crying because of the sadness of losing Himeno. Before he starts crying, actually, I missed this part, Aki opens up his sword or nail, whatever it is, and he asks the curse in it how long he has to live. And it says 2 years, which is crazy because that means either just most likely the story is going to go down the route where Aki is going to die within this story, probably before they get to the Gun Devil. Or they're going to get to the Gun Devil very, very soon, within the next 2 years, which is crazy, considering it's how long it's been since the Gun Devil attacked and how they have had basically no success in finding it. But yeah, it is cool that I feel like he gets that news and he doesn't cry. He just takes a cigarette. But when he thinks about Himeno, he starts just bawling, crying. And continuing on, we see that Denji is still in the hall because he was going to go back into the room and grab the manga he left because he forgot it because he's an idiot. But he doesn't go in. He leaves Aki be, and he thinks that how it's interesting that Aki cried for Himeno, but he has no feelings of remorse for her death, even though Himeno tried to be his friend and even was going to give it to him in previous chapters. And like, she was cold-heartedly going to just give it up to him. But now that she's dead, he doesn't want to cry, and he thinks about it. If Power died, he wouldn't cry. If Aki died, he wouldn't be sad. If Makima died, his number one, if she died, he said he would feel bad for like 3 days, and then he would move on with his life. And like, thinking that through was like, wow, Denji, that's kind of messed up. Like, was Pochita really your only guy? Like, the only person you cared about? But he thinks it's over, and he says, maybe when he lost his heart, and he had to have Pochita save his life, maybe he lost his humanity as well. And thinking that through, that makes sense. Because, like, When we first met Denji, he was a street rat working for the mafia, basically going day to day, almost dying, constantly eating scraps, dirt, shit, because he just needed to do that to survive. When he was offered the ability to continue his life as a devil hunter, he took it because he knew that was like the best way for him to survive. So whenever we saw the way he acted in situations, like when he first met Aki, he was a douchebag, honestly. And like when he turns into Chainsaw Devil, he kind of goes crazy. I just kind of thought that was just Denji on his base level. But maybe truly merging with a devil makes you less human. Who would have thought? Honestly, who would have thunk it? But yeah, he doesn't really care. He's like, I'm not going to think about that. Let's just get out of here and go see Makima. Which they do. When Denji and Power go find Makima, she takes them to the graveyard. The same graveyard where Aki first met Himeno. I guess this is where most of the devil hunters are buried when they die. It's just a realm of crosses on boxes lined up very close to each other. As they're walking, Makima tells them it's obvious that some of our enemies are obviously targeting Denji, and because of this, we need to reinforce the 4th Division. Makima says she was gonna do this beforehand, but sadly, now almost everyone's dead. So as an effort to reinforce the 4th Division, she's gonna have Denji and Power trained. She can't do it herself because she's busy, so we get to see this guy. We don't know his name yet, but we might learn that next chapter a little later. But it turns out this is the same guy that apparently was Himeno's master. Most likely, he taught Himeno. I think he might have also taught Aki. I don't know. But back in chapter 19, we saw this guy when in a flashback of Himeno talking to him and talking about how to be a devil hunter and to survive as a devil hunter, you have to have some screw loose and you have to be kind of crazy. Which is kind of evident not only by how his face looks, but by the question he asks Aki and Power to say yes, he'll train them. First off, he asks what did they think about their comrades dying. Aki and Power say didn't care. He asked if they wanted revenge. They said no, that's stupid. And then he asked, do you consider yourself allies with humans or with devils? This was a cool question because obviously the answer for Power is whoever's winning. She's flip-flop any given chance. As long as someone strong isn't next to her about to kill her, she'll switch sides. And the answer of Denji is whoever will take care of me. So like same kind of thing. We know this from these two characters. They don't really care. They just want to live. And this guy points to them and says 100 points. The title of this chapter, a perfect 100. They win. He's gonna train them. We get some comedy in this next part because both Power and Denji are like looking at each other like this guy's crazy. And he tells Makima to leave. And Makima looks at this and is like, huh. Yeah, he might be a little crazy. And she just leaves. It's pretty funny. This guy then continues to tell them about himself a little more, like how he likes women and he likes killing devils. The next thing we know, he puts his arms around Denji and Power and starts choking them out. So it looks like training has started. And that's the end of chapter 29 of Chainsaw Man. It was a pretty good chapter. I enjoyed it. It was a lighthearted chapter. And it gave us some thinking points. Like, does Denji losing his heart and joining with Pochita make him any less of a human? When Makima said that she wanted to enforce her special division with more unique type of people, did she mean she wanted more people that were completely willing to die and had no remorse for killing devils? I think so. And now we got this new character who looks like he probably could handle himself in a fight, going to train Power and Denji. So yeah, everything seems like it's going pretty alright. So that's basically all I had to say. Thanks for listening. This chapter was cool. If you have any thoughts or comments, leave them down below. Other than that, like, subscribe, I don't care. But yeah, peace.